I just want to give a brief introduction, firstly, of where I am, ILC, and also the ILC Roundtable. So my name is Samuel Ogushola, and I'm like the team lead of ILC Impact Leaders Connect. And what we do is to organize programs like this, where we bring leaders together to learn, to connect, and also to network with each other. So ILC Roundtable is an event also that started this year, and actually this is the first ILC Roundtable we'll be having. And the purpose of the ILC Roundtable is just to discuss about career and also to bring people that are expert already in the field to share their experience. So just to comment. Yeah, so the objective of ILC Roundtable is firstly to keep attendees with the information and resources they need to transition into a career in data science and design. So that's the first ILC we are having this year. So this is the goal. As I mentioned earlier, the purpose is to help our young people, young leaders that are coming up to be able to learn more about their career and what they want to do. And then the next thing is to also inspire attendees to tap into their strength and pursue their dreams. So from all the amazing speakers we're going to have today, many of them were able to get to where they are today because they were able to tap into their strength and also tap into their dreams. And lastly, to eradicate misconception about transitioning into a new career or starting something new. So as I mentioned, ILC Roundtable is for young people that wants to maybe get into a new career, want to learn more about how they can make use of what they have at the moment. So that's the purpose of having this event. And today we have great speakers on ground. We have Itunu. So I've known Itunu personally now for, I think, close to 10 years now. So we gained admission together at FUTA. And I know as a microbiologist, and interestingly, when we graduated, I just saw that Itunu is now a graphic designer, not just an ordinary graphic designer. She works with top organizations, and she's currently even doing a master's program in design in London. So that's an amazing profile there, transitioning from microbiology into design. So learning about that journey would help, I believe, would help a lot of young people today that wants to take the same step, especially looking at what the world is going on to now, technology. And besides that, looking at the challenges, for instance, in Africa, for young people to be able to gain more money, get more funds, you probably have to have one or two skills, even aside what you study in the university. So Solomon is my friend. Also, I've known Solomon for about 10 years now. We also went to put out together, and I was amazed, looking at his LinkedIn profile and also LinkedIn post. I was able to see that he has transitioned from being a mechanical engineer into a data scientist, which is an amazing transition too. So learning from these two people, I believe, would help a lot of young people that wants to take the same step. You want to transition from maybe a biochemist into a designer, or you want to transition from maybe a civil engineer into a data scientist. So learning from these guys, you'll be able to know, okay, which skills do I need to learn? Which website do I need to join? What do I need to do to prepare myself to be able to transition effectively? And even if you don't want to transition, maybe you're already practicing what you're doing. For instance, like me, I'm currently, practicing what I studied in undergrad as the biochemistry, but still I want to learn more about design. I want to learn more about data science. I want to improve myself. So I can also learn from them, get to know what they know, and then add that to what I already have. So I believe this is going to be an amazing time to learn, and I want to welcome everyone. I want to say thank you for coming around, for joining us today. I believe you're going to learn a lot. So get your jotter, get your pen, and start writing. Write down all the tips you are going to share, so you can also apply it in your life. Thank you for joining us in the fourth edition of the ILC Roundtable, and I hope this is going to impact you positively. Thank you very much. So now we're going to move to the next section, which is Itunu also like talking to us for a minute, and after which Solomon will come up, and then we're going to have some interaction, and that will be the end of the event. Thank you. So, okay, I'm going to introduce Itunu now for our section. So Itunu, as I said earlier, is a designer, and I kind of like a nickname, which is Sabi designer. You know, in Yoruba, the meaning of Sabi designer is a designer that understands what she's doing very well. So she's an innovative, ambitious visual designer that stands between target audience needs and company objectives. She's passionate about creating functional, simple yet elegant design, and she loves designing for experience that move the needle, no matter how small. She currently works as a visual designer at Over. So to know you can come up.
Thank you very much. Hi guys. All right, so it kept saying Itunu, and it was like somebody was tricking me in my so I like to call my name like full name Itunu, right? So I'll introduce myself properly. Okay, so my name is Itunu Akinsehinde, also known as the Sabi designer. As he has literally like introduced me. But anyways, we should just get into it properly, then you can get to know more about me. So I'm going to try and share my screen now. Okay, great. Okay, yeah, share. Okay, can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can. I can.
Okay, can every other person see my screen? Just sure.
Yes, I can.
All right, okay, thank you very much. Okay, so I am pretty excited to be having this talk at this very moment. I think it's one of those things that I would always love to indulge in. And well, now that we're here, let's just like go into it, right? So anyways, my story, I find my story really fascinating, because I literally remember vividly that I decided that, okay, I wanted to study microbiology. It wasn't like, when I got to uni, they changed my course. I'm not like that other person. Like it was exactly what I wanted. And I decided to like go for it. And so when I got to 400 level, I think I randomly met a friend and we were having a conversation and it was like kind of fair. So like aside, microbiology, because you're like overly on this microbiology, what else would you like to do? And so I was like, oh, maybe photography, and after that time, trust me, I did not even know there was an existence or anything like design. So I felt like, but he apparently is a designer at that time because it was like a publicity secretary and the fellowship. So, and it was like, oh, have I heard about maybe trying design? And I was like, design. So it now showed me like, like this banner, all this logo. And I was like, it's actually interesting. Maybe I should actually like try that. But that time I could not even afford a laptop. So it was like, it was a really hard catch. And I said, I also want to like do photography, right? So I said, okay, so I'm just going to learn how to use CorelDRAW regardless. This was not like, I mean, it was just like a guessing thing, it's just like you tiptoeing and just trying to like do something, right? So I said, okay, I learned, it taught like literally, it told me about CorelDRAW. I would never forget. It was like, okay, it tried to design in my presence and I was intrigued but I did not have a laptop. So it didn't feel like it was possible for me to like, execute that. So I just felt like, okay, how am I going to get a laptop? And there's just always someone that you always look out for to actually help you, like, maybe help you out with laptop, but it was really hard. But lucky for me, I think there was this exam that they had to do one sort of scholarship. So I was able to get a laptop from there. So I got scholarship that I could get my laptop. Then I started this whole design thing. Believe me, when I said the only thing this my friend ever told me was just a day of showing me what CorelDRAW was. And every other thing, I think I literally like got them from YouTube videos, and as at that time, there was nothing like, course, like, the way you can access courses like Udemy or Coursera or, certification as at that time. It was just like YouTube videos and people were just making videos. And so I tried to like download those videos and try to like check, and I kept like working on them. When I was actually doing all this, I was not actively thinking I was actually going to be a designer, like literally. I just felt like, okay, I'm just going to like do it. I don't know. I just was doing it, to be honest. Then I think when I have a sort of clarity after that 400 level, I had a sort of clarity and I was like, I think I really want to do this design. I even had the thought of dropping out of school. And I was like, because I was so like almost into it, it was like ingrained in my veins. And I was like, maybe I should just drop out and I should go to like a school or switch to IDD. Like, I don't even know what I was thinking. Like, but yeah, I had to calm down. Like, no, guy, you have like a year to go. Like, you can't drop out now. So, and I think I just had to like challenge myself and say, okay, yes, let's just get into it. And I started like looking to apply for jobs. And so my first job was at in Akures. So I was in school, right? 500 level, and I was also working. And and that was literally how my story literally like began. So, and how I evolved, let me just pick up from like 500 level. So because it's not going to be advisable to like start all over again. So I'm just going to start from where I stopped. So like I said, I had the notion to like drop out, like because I wanted to like try a design school, but it was not advisable because it didn't make sense, starting like all over again after spending like 5 years or so in school, like literally studying microbiology. And plus I literally love microbiology too. So it didn't make any sense. So what I did was, I told myself I could just, continue. Then I got into the work field properly. So I got my first job, and while I was in Akure, literally by so it was like a contract job, and I got into it properly while I was actually schooling, and I was actually like literally like working too. So I'll go to Alagbaka, work, and I'll go to class. It was crazy, but trust me, I thought I was going to actually fail. I'm not even lying to you because I have evidence. Like first and second semester, I literally had first class. So I thought, oh my God, it's not possible to like, combine those two together. But I was literally wrong, but I did literally great. So, and that was how my journey into design literally like started. And from there, I decided that, okay, so I did the internship for like a couple of months with the laptop I had, but I want to get better because when I learned from the YouTube video, I didn't get to know about the principle of design. I think I just knew the basics, not like the nitty gritty. So I decided I was going to go into internship. And so I went for internship. Luckily for me, that was like 20. So all of this started like 2018 at thereabouts, to 2019. Then we went for service year. Service year, I joined OBS because they allow, you could be the graphic designer for them. But, at that time, I had like a sort of imposter syndrome. I'm like, can I do this? I just go into this. But, I remember that was my project supervisor, like in school. She encouraged you and said, you can do it and just join. And okay, I used the energy that she gave me I went to apply for the OBS, and luckily for me, I got in. And that was, the whole journey started getting a bit interesting. And I wouldn't say it was smooth all along because, I had to deal with a lot of imposter syndrome and doubt, but I kept moving regardless. And from there, when I was lucky to get posted in Ibadan, so I got a sort of internship. So I was on the lookout for internship. So this company, Ford Canvas, they were in Ibadan at that time. So I had to make use of the opportunity to also like, learn from there. And I was teaching in school at that time too. So I was teaching in school and also go for internship, right? So I was mixing both of them together because as much as I wanted to like serve my country, I was more prominent about my career and I wanted to like grow properly. So, and that was how I literally got ingrained into the whole process. And from there, I moved from, internship to being an art director. From being an art director at Noazak, I went to being a visual designer at Paul's. Then, I decided to like switch career from ad agency to fintech, and which is where I am currently, and yeah. So as I'm speaking, I need you to like literally be like super attentive so that you can pick everything that is going to like, correlate with you as a person. Because these are like literally life experiences that I'm giving that I experienced unfiltered and how it actually went. So, and I'm going to talk about my personality. Like my personality was a stumbling block. Like it was a stumbling block to actually, making my transition into design a smooth one. Because now, so why did I say that? I'm an introvert, so it was really hard, like trying to like meet, because when you're in tech, let me give you a disclaimer, like you have to like connect. It has to be part of you. You have to like network. You have to meet people. So I am not comfortable doing all of that. It was not easy doing all that. But then, I just had to push myself. Trust me when I say it was not comfortable. An introvert to understand what it means. Like, sometimes I'm like overly down and, like hearing voices in my head like, God, I don't want to do this. Like, but, I don't want to be comfortable at the same time, because once I get into my comfort zone, I don't tend to push myself. So I had to like, sit down and tell myself, okay, is it that this or that? And I had to face it that, okay, so I know I'm an introvert, so but how am I supposed to like deal with this? Because it was a sort of stumbling block for me. And I decided to like work on that. So, and which led me to where I am right now. So I realized that, okay, yes, this is my personality and this is who I am. And I know where I want to be and I know where I'm going and I know where I am right now. So I said, okay, fine. I'm just going to like, envision where I want to be. So I decided that I want to be someone you can reckon with in the tech industry, someone that when you hear about, that yes, she literally like, she's doing great in her career. And aside all of that, I literally know about my personality. So I had this vision of where I'm actually going and, and everything. So, which is actually like, Samuel mentioned, I'm currently like studying design course in University of London. At first, I didn't even think that was possible because I studied microbiology. I had microbiology certificate. And I try to see, like, check out for people that have done that before. I did not see. I only saw for product design, because when we talk about design, we have product design, we have brand design, we have visual design, we have marketing design. Like there's a category of design. I'm going to touch on that. Like different type of, like literally. So, there's even fashion design. So you can imagine somebody studying microbiology and saying that they want to switch into fashion design. So that kind of thing. You wouldn't see the correlation, but it's been happening, but it happened. So I couldn't see anybody to like look up to actually guide me and seeing that it was possible. But I had to make my research, but because I actually knew what I was going to, I made my research. I sat down, checked through, and I saw that it was possible, and I gave it my best, and I had to work on my portfolio, make sure it, stood out from every other person that, had background in design or communication or whatnot, like literally. So I pushed myself, and yes, I am where I am right now, which is currently studying art direction. It's also one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life too. So yeah, before getting to this space, one thing I think I'm going to mention also is that my personality, I'm not sure I touched about how I actually dealt with that. I had two things which I would advise anybody, even extrovert is going to work, or ambivert is going to work for anybody, is like work with community, like literally, like have that thing. Like if there's a way for you to like enter into any community is my, like, I would say that community actually built me. Like who I am today is because of community. I met a lot of people there. I see people work, and I'm like challenged every day, like till this very moment. community is building me. I'm like challenging every day. When I see people talk, I'm like, God, when will I get it? Like, I'm like, God, when, that kind of thing, like literally. So, and, but it's always like pushing me and driving me, like literally. And also you can have a small circle of friends that, you know, they are into what you are envisioning. Maybe, or you guys want to like do product design. It might not necessarily be that you guys have to be doing the same thing, but, you know, people that drive you to be your best, you know, that wants you to achieve the very best. So you guys can literally like form circle, and which is what I did, and it helped me like massively. And you know, when I'm faced with imposter syndrome, or I have doubts, or I feel like I cannot put my work out there, I talk to them. They're like usually the first person that sees it, and they're like, you know, they'll hype you and like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is really nice. This is great, you know. And them encouraging me, I kind of use that morale that I, you know, get from there. I'm just going to post it like literally. And people will like be wowed that, oh my God, this is amazing, right? So, but if they were not there, I would not put those work out there, and I will not be recognized, and people don't know what I'm capable of doing or, you know, delivering. So, and also we kind of like tend to like, you know, push ourselves, you know, okay, like I remember one of my friend, you know, it was like charging logo like for $6,000, and I wouldn't think that was even achievable if I did not have that kind of friend, like literally. So, you know, I would think that, nah, you know, but because I moved with people that, you know, they know what they are doing, they have that capacity, they are like opposite of me because they are extroverts, and they kind of like drive me and push me. It literally like helped my career. Like, and that made all of this that I just said actually made my story like I wouldn't say easy, but it made it better, like literally. So, and in the midst of the ups and downs, you know, having to like apply for jobs, you know, and building your portfolio, working to get the best out of it, they were there to stick with me all through. And, you know, and I had to like evolve, meet people, you know, get like, connect with more people, you know, indulge myself in community work, you know, also like, you know, blessing other people's life also, like that. Those things like literally like shaped me into who I am right now. And this and everything is what has made me who I am today, and made my transition into design a successful one, which I would still say, if anybody asks me today, is still one of my best decisions so far. So yeah. On this note, because we're still going to have time for question and answer, so I'm just going to be clocking out. And yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Itunu. That was a very good one. I took quite a lot, like I wrote some things down. Yeah, thank you for sharing about your internship experience and also your sacrifices. I think there is no one that wants to like achieve something worthwhile in this life that won't have to sacrifice at one point or the another. And also having a community is very, very important. So we are still going to get into discussion and also get into some details. So we are going to quickly move to Solomon because of time, and then we can move on to the discussion section. So, okay. We just introduce Solomon now, and then we'll move on to the next. Just a minute. Okay. Okay. So also as I said earlier, I met Solomon while I was in Futa too. And I knew him as a mechanical engineer. Well, interestingly, today Solomon is a data analyst, and also he trains quite a lot of people on data science. So So I'll just read his profile quickly. Solomon is a certified Microsoft Power BI data analyst. He works with Philip Morris International as a digital data analyst and a part-time data science lecturer at Rome Business School. He's the founder and creative director of PrepsNG, a private consultancy that has trained over 700 participants from more than 10 countries across Europe, Africa, North America, South America. Wow, that's an amazing profile there. So Solomon, we are very happy to have you. So I will stop sharing my screen now so you can share yours. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Samuel. It was really nice to see and connect with you again. I mean, on LinkedIn, and it's such a small world, right? Yeah, thank you so much, Itunu, for the amazing presentation. And I must say that, like, I am really, really motivated. Honestly speaking, I'm really, really motivated, and I really do hope that we get to connect after now.
Thank you.
As well.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm just going to share my screen in a minute. Just give me a second. So do that quickly. Okay. Hi everyone. I hope you can see my screen. Can we please confirm that we can see my screen?
I can see your screen clearly.
Yeah, I can see your screen, bro.
Okay, all right. So thank you so much, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Learned so much, learning and hearing from you to know. And I really do hope that we all get to enjoy the session together as a team. All right. So basically, this is what the presentation would look like. I'll do an introduction. How the journey started for me. How it is going, I mean, and some of the things that I look forward to doing, and in the Okay, so I don't need to go over this again. Samuel already did all the talking and all the introduction that he has to do. So basically, for me, the journey has been very, very inconsistent, I would say. All right, because I started out in secondary school wanting to, study economics, right? I wanted to study economics so bad, and I was a science student, right? And my parents they were just not having it. My siblings were not having it, but it was just something that I really loved to do. And this is very interesting because I remember that when I got my JAM form to go to the university, the first time I think I filled in mechanical engineering, I went back to the place, the point of registration, and I told them, look, I need to change this. I don't think I want to study mechanical engineering. And then I changed to economics. I got back home and I told my parents that, oh, I think I want to change to economics. They got really angry. I remember my dad driving me down to the place and saying, look, you're not going to change this. You have to study mechanical engineering. So my first love for me in terms of career and what I really want to do is what I really wanted to do when I started out, right, is actually economics, right? But I mean, somehow life happened and I had to switch, right? So I switched and I had to study mechanical engineering majorly or only because my parents wanted me to study mechanical engineering. So, I mean, so the journey started, I gained admission into FUTA, and I mean, engineering was also, and I think it's good for me to also add that as a person, I have this commitment to always be, to always do well at whatever I have to do, right? Because whatever is worth doing at all is worth doing well, right? So mechanical engineering started, I had good grade, graduated as one of the top students in the class, and the journey started for me. First, and just to also add, I remember that it was such a struggle at a point. I was doing so well in school, but I was not enjoying it, right? Because I didn't really like engineering as much, right? So I remember calling my mom at a point and I said, look, mom, I need to change my course. I want to drop out of school. I don't think I can deal with this. I know that I have a good grade, but I'm just not having it, right? So I recall I think it was time 300 level. I just didn't want to go write exam because I knew that, of course, if I start to fail, my parents would be able to relate with what I'm saying, right? And the only reason they were not really buying whatever I was saying at the time about dropping out of school is because I was always doing very well, right? I was always, coming on with good grades and all of that. So they just, the energy of whatever I was saying with the result I was getting was not just, matching up, right? So they just said, oh, no, you just keep going. It's just because you're still in school. By the time you start working, you start making money, and then you start taking care of everyone, you would really be grateful that we had to force you to study engineering, right? So it got to a point I told my friends that I wasn't going to write exams, and I recalled that they had to literally come drag me from my place, right, in school. And that semester, I still think I had one of the best results ever. So it's just a thing that I just always wanted to do well at whatever, but not like I really liked mechanical engineering, but I did it for my parents. So graduated mechanical engineering, BEng, and I told my parents, look, this certificate is for you. Now it's time for me to, pursue what I actually want for myself, right? So NYC, I had to do NYC, and I knew that I didn't want to work as a teacher, or I didn't want to go to a school. I didn't just want to work in any random place, right? So I worked my NYC to like one of the biggest companies in Ogun State. So and that was where I had my NYC, right? But at the time, I was just, I still couldn't get anything that has to do with economics, but I really loved it. And it was just something that I was constantly on the lookout for, right? So I was basically doing supply chain and inventory, and somehow, just to give us, so I can go to the next slide, and somehow, one thing led to another. I got a lecturing job, and then one thing led to another. I think I've gotten to where I am now. So I'm just going to go to the next slide. All right, so how it started. Economics, this was what I really wanted to study, right? Mechanical engineering, what I eventually studied. And, inventory and supply chain was my first job. I worked as inventory and supply chain for a company, Sana Group. And so that was where I was introduced to the use of Excel for data analysis, computing numbers and doing some sort of calculations. And it was just really interesting for me, right? It was just extremely interesting because I didn't really want the core engineering, right? So I was not working in the units where they had to produce concrete additives, because the company was also producing concrete additive at the time, and they had like a production plant. So I was not interested in working there, right? But I just wanted to sit behind the PC and just edit, input these numbers and do some sort of calculation. Obviously, my background in engineering was also a plus, because I really wanted to just work with numbers and do some calculations every time. I didn't really care about putting on hard hats and safety shoes and all that. And it was a problem while I was even working with this company, because I kept getting queries about, not wearing the proper PPEs, right? So somehow I started really engaging myself in, learning things online, watching YouTube videos. I was awake almost every other night, trying to learn something on Excel, trying to just crack it. And I recall that the breakthrough for me started when the company needed to recruit someone as, I think as a data analyst, right? And I was there. I was working in the company, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I can actually do this thing, right? So I decided to do something with Excel at the time, right? So I decided to do a tracker, because I was doing a lot of inventory. We had over 5,000 products, distributed and supplied to across the country, right? So at the time, I constantly, was working with those spreadsheets. So I started to build an inventory tracker, something on Excel that, automatically adds the products when we have new shipments, and then when, the stock keeps reducing, monitors expiring date. I mean, look at a warehouse that has over 5,000 products and having Excel automatically count down the expiring date just because I used one function. All right, so because the manual thing that the company does is you have to do like a monthly stock check, you check the expiring date, you confirm it, you put it down. But because I could use Excel as a tool very well, I was able to use just the function, just a single function, and I was able to do like a countdown for expiring dates every day. All right, so that completely the process of going to manually check completely stopped because of that process, right? And that was where it really hit me, really, because I found out that, if I could actually do this because of one function, it means I can do so much more, all right? Using some other tools, maybe Power BI, maybe SQL, right? So, after learning Excel and I was really using it, when they needed to take a data analyst, I spoke with my manager and it's like, is this something that you could do? And then I got the job, and that was where it started, really. I was still doing inventory and supply chain, but I mean, it was just something that, it was just like an additional role. Let me just put it that way. It was more like an additional role. My main role was still inventory and supply chain, and I was also working as a data analyst, right? So when I found out that, I could do so much more with other tools, I started to learn Power BI, I started to learn SQL, I started to learn Python, I started to learn R. I never really paid for any of these courses. It was just YouTube, and it was just some of these courses that you just request for financial aid. And that was what I was doing, really. And I kept learning, I kept doing more things. I kept getting more recognition within the company within such a short period of time, right? And for some reasons, right, I got promoted, I got getting promotions, and in the space of 1 year and 6 months, I'd grown so much within the company. And this is essentially because of the impact and how much I was able to do just by using simple tools like Excel, like Power BI, and like SQL, right? And this was where it struck me that, okay, I really wanted to do economics. The closest thing to economics right now from where I am now is actually data analysis, right? It's actually, looking at these numbers and trying to make sense of these numbers, right? So, and I realized that, at the time, I really wanted to just teach other people and sort of like bring some sort of clarity to other people who were kind of stuck in one thing and they really wanted to do something else, right? So I started a Twitter account and I started tweeting about data and how I would love to teach people about data analysis, right? And then I remember that in 2020, I just put it out there because I noticed that there was a lot of online courses going on. People were just really interested in taking online courses, right? So, and that was one thing that really, that was the opportunity that I saw, all right? And then I just designed a banner and I posted it on Twitter and I said, oh, I'm going to be teaching a number of people how to use this tool and how to use that tool. And, somehow, people registered for the course. And I wasn't even expecting to see a lot of people, right? And I had 14 people, my very first class, right? And at the time, it was just very simple Excel that I could use and maybe a little bit of SQL, right? But I taught it with all passion. I was willing to go the extra mile, and somehow the class started growing. More people started joining. I started getting DMs from people from different countries, really, and asking questions. Oh, can you help me do this? Can you help me work on this project? And it was so interesting because even if I didn't know that thing, right, when people come to ask in my DM that, oh, Solomon, can you please help me work on this? I'm going to pay you for it. I'll just literally tell them that, you know what, I don't need money. I just want to really work on this stuff and learn to do it, right? So I'll just take on the project. Something that I didn't even know before, right? I just started watching videos online just so I could learn, one or two things. And for every single project I was given, even even for the project that I didn't even know how to use the tools, I just took it up and I was able to execute every single one, right? So, and the class started growing, obviously. I started, meeting more people. I started going for conferences. And I think there was something that Itunu also mentioned, which I think I would like to reiterate, which is, joining the community. And that's where, that was the game changer for me, right? I had the passion, I had, I could use the tools, but I just needed somebody to mention my name somewhere in a room where it is important, right? I just needed one person, just a recommendation. So I remember that there was somebody that reached out to me on Twitter, and the person said, oh, can you teach us this? Can you train us? I have a group of 10 people and I would really love to learn Excel. But it is something that you can do. And then I told them, look, yeah, it's something that I could do. I think I can do this. So I took the job, right? And trust me, that was the beginning of a complete turnaround for me in terms of my career and in terms of any other thing that you want to think of, right? So I took the job and I trained them. It was just for a few hours. And somehow I got a call after that class like, oh, there's an opening for a Nigerian who would love to teach in an international business school. I would love to lecture in an international business school in Italy. Is this something that you think you're able to do? And they really wanted somebody in Nigeria because the school has an annex in Nigeria, like a satellite campus, something like that. I'm like, yeah, it's something that I could do. And that's one thing about me as well, that I don't usually say no. Whether or not I know how to do it, I'll just say, yes, I can do it, right? Regardless. I've failed on some things, but believe me, it really didn't matter to me whether or not it was something that I'll be able to do. I'll just say, yes, I can do it, right? That was it. So I went for the interview and somehow, I got the job, right? And it's also very interesting that, at the time I got the job, I didn't even have a master's degree. And one major criteria to get a job there in the school is actually to have a master's degree, right? And for some reasons, right, it was just overlooked. And till now, I still don't have a master's degree, by the way. But I mean, I'll still get to that soon, right? So somehow I got the recommendation, I got the job to lecture, also because I was really passionate about it. I really wanted to just do it somehow, right? And so I started lecturing, but I was still working, with the company in Ogun State as more like a supplier and inventory person. But I really, at the time, I was worried that, oh, okay, I'm not actually a full-time data analyst, right? I'm actually an inventory and supply chain person. So I kept, applying for jobs and I kept getting rejections, but I didn't say no at any point, right? I just kept going. I just kept pushing. And somehow, I just saw this opening somehow for a job as a digital trade data analyst. I'm like, oh, this is a multinational. I don't think I have the required skills. I don't even think I have a proper job as a data analyst. But I had this lecturing, right? So I was leveraging on the lecturing for every other thing, right? When I go for any project, any conference, I was always talking about my lecturing job as a data science lecturer, right? So, and this is to also say this, right? Whatever you're doing, if you're trying to transition to something else, you have to start from where you are. And there's no better way to say this than whatever you want to do, right? You need to start with the resources that you have where you are. Because right now, at the time, I was just a lecturer, and that's the only experience I have as a data analyst, really. And then I kept going, and somehow, right? Somehow, I had to do the first interview, the second one, and eventually I got the job, and which is something that I've always loved to do, right? And somehow I got the job as a digital trade data analyst. And right now it's just something, and sometimes when I look back at how the journey has been for me, it's just really surreal, honestly, because it looks like this happened overnight, right? And everything happened within the space of 2 years, literally within the space of 2 years, from putting out content on Twitter about data analysis, taking my first cohort in 2020, and to what I do now. I'm literally like doing 3 things at the same time: working as a digital trade data analyst for a multinational, lecturing in an international business school in Italy, and also officially starting or founding a private consultancy, which is preps.ng. And to be very honest, right, just like Samuel said, it was from engineering literally into data, honestly. And it was like just within 2 years. And somehow this class is just a way for me to give back and say, look, whoever wants to transition into data analysis, it's actually something very, very easy. You just need the right guide, or the right support, or the right information really. And this has reached more than 700 people, from more than 10 different countries across 4 different continents. And all these things happened just because of, data science, just because of social media, really. And then, and just to also put this, what is next, right? For me, basically, it's just about, looking at having a master's degree in business analytics, right? And I'm saying this, and I'm putting this up because I want everyone to know, or for those who care to take this seriously, that you have to start from wherever you are. You have what you want to do in mind, and this is because sometimes there's certain things I want to do, some doors I want to open, some places I want to walk into, but because I don't have some sort of background in business or in something within the commercial space, let me just put it that way, right? It's kind of limiting. So it doesn't mean I'm going to stop doing what I'm doing, but I know that this is where I want to go to, and I just have to start from where I am, right? And it's very interesting because I think I remember applying to some schools in the UK recently, and I was turned down. And it was funny because, the reason for doing that, the reason for the rejection is because they feel like I'm too qualified and I don't need to do a master's degree, all right? And this is really very funny. But just to wrap it all up, right? What is important is, from whatever you're doing, just start from there. For me, it was economics, and then somehow mechanical engineering, somehow inventory, and lecturing data science was really the bridging gap, and the point of transition for me between. There must be something, and I really do hope and pray that we all really get to where we really want to get to in terms of transition. I think I'll just stop there. Hopefully, when we get to the question and answer section, I'll be able to attend to some of our questions.
Wow, Solomon, thank you very much. Thank you very much. That was a great one. Yeah, we are going to go straight into the question and answer, and I hope everyone you've been able to learn something today. So I took quite a lot of notes also from your talk, and just to reiterate, it's very important to learn how to it's very important to devote yourself to personal development. So most of the things we do today are connected to personal development. So you can't run away from that. So being able to, read books, take skills on YouTube and stuff like that, they really help a lot. And another thing is, delay gratification. So try to push gratification maybe to the next day, every day just try to push yourself harder. And another thing is don't say no. So don't reject opportunities, because opportunities just move to you and they don't stay for long. So try to make use of every opportunity you have, and skills are very important to develop yourself as much as education is important, what will give you a job is actually skills you have. And having data science skills, having design skills in the world we have today are actually basic skills you need to know. You know, before it was Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, and PowerPoint, but in the world we are today, having basic skill in design or data analysis would help you a lot. And start from where you are and also learn to leverage social media. So, okay, I don't, okay, Blessing said you can't hear me. Can we all hear me?
I can hear
Yes, we
Yes,
can.
we can hear you.
Okay, okay. Maybe you can check your audio, Blessing. So yeah, we're going to get into the round table now, and it's just going to be a very short time because we've spent a lot of time due to the issues we had. So, and I want to say thank you again to everyone for staying behind and also learning. So, Solomon and Itunu, if you want to switch on your video, that would be nice. And if not, anyone that is fine with you. Yeah. So I will go into the question, and because the purpose of this roundtable is to actually inspire people and also get to know the details they need to, like the steps they need to take from where they are now to where they want to be. Because I believe everyone that registered for this event are actually interested in, you know, maybe starting a journey to become what Solomon is today or become what Itunu is today. So I have some questions and I would love to, I would appreciate if you can just be like short answers due to the time so we can release everyone. So I will start with Itunu. So I have a question here. How much time do I need or do I have to invest in becoming a professional in visual design? I know that's a very, I would say it's a very hard question, but I would love to hear your view on that. So how much time do I need to invest starting from now? I don't even know design at all.
Oh my God. It's funny because I don't know, like you need, I don't know, all the time. Like, but maybe not to scare you, because the moment I say all the time, you might be like, oh my God, like, considering the fact that you might be doing other things and all that. So the thing is, I think I'll just give you a good strategy. So let's say, like the way I did when I want to start learning, like when I started out. So, there is school, there is fellowship, there was like every other thing. So I had to like dedicate like maybe let's say 2 hours. I'm going to like focus on 2 hours, like, okay, let me just learn this. And trust me, before you know it, nobody will, once it's like ingrained into your vein, you'll not even be thinking about 2 hours or 3 hours. You just do it like as though you are living, like literally. So it becomes part of you eventually. But when you are starting out, like dedicating time, just like saying, okay, so I would see it from the fact that maybe I want to learn new skill right now. Maybe I want to like approach 3D, then I can dedicate, like, let's say, so you can do it like that, like, okay, 2 hours per day, like that kind of thing. Or it might be too much to say, so that for consistency's sake, but you have to just show up. It doesn't necessarily have to like say 2 hours by 5 by 4. Do you understand? So you can just say 2 hours. And sometimes, because we're human, we get tired, and let's be realistic. But the truth of the matter is to show up. That is what consistency is. It doesn't have to necessarily mean 2 hours every day, but show up and know that you're actually growing. That's just it. And before you know it, in no time, it becomes part of you, like, and you live within it. It's simple as everything. I mean, it's not that simple, but yes.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much, Itunu, for that. That's a very important point. So, you can't say specifically this is the amount of time you need, but it takes, every day. It takes being passionate about. And there's this what's it called, principle that if you put in 10,000 hours into learning a skill, you become an expert in it. So I would say even that the 10,000 hours is actually the basics of just starting. So to become an expert in a field, you have to learn continuously. And the world we are in today, technology is constantly evolving. People are evolving, information are evolving. Things we know today, probably tomorrow they will be obsolete. So you need to update yourself regularly. So there's a question here, and also for all our participants, you can drop question in the chat So I have my own questions, but your questions are more important. So so there's a question here. So this is to the two of you. So I just wanted to maybe answer in like 30 seconds. How do you navigate through the ordeals of meeting people in your aspiring niche? Both of you mentioned the importance of community, but many of us are actually afraid of meeting people. So how were you able to navigate through the ordeal? So I can start first with Solomon, and then if you can come in.
All right, just to quickly put this out there, I was actually very, very shy in the university. I was really shy. I could not like look anyone in the eye, literally. But I think sometimes it's really about knowing what you want to get. Like you don't exactly like it, but you know that this can lead me somewhere. And so I have to do it because of that. And I think that's it, basically. I think I should just stop it right there. Just keep doing it because you know that there's something that it will get you. And remaining within your shell maybe not get you there, right? Just maybe. All right. I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Solomon. Okay, Itunu can come in.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy. I'm not going to lie to you. It's not easy. I mean, I still don't find it comfortable meeting people right now. But I just have to do it. You have to show up. You have to just do it. It's hard, but you just have to do it. Like literally. Some things you don't need to be comfortable with them. You just have to show up. Literally, that's all. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And just to add to that, for me to what I try to do is number one, know that you're going to most of the things that limit us from approaching people is fear. So, and for you to be able to, conquer fear, you have to face it. And the fear, we have most times are not actually real. It's just our head telling us that, no, you can't do this. So people are actually there to help us. So my own belief is this, that there's someone out there ready to help me and I need to reach out to them. And if they say no, we need to know that there are 7 billion people in the world. Search on LinkedIn, visual designers. I don't know how many people will come up. So if someone tell you, no, I can't help you, gladly move on to another person. The person just missed a big opportunity to help you. So move on to another person. And another thing is you can also read books. So there are books on, connecting with people. So there are a lot of books. I just bought one actually last week on how to communicate and connect to people. So just approach people, read those books and learn some tips on how to do that. And it takes practice too. So thank you, Itunu and Solomon, for that. That's a good one. So you can drop in your question again, people, if you have any question related to data science or design. So I have a question for Solomon. So what part of data science workflow do you enjoy the most and why? Because you mentioned something that you use Excel, you use Power BI, you use all these things. So some people might not be able to have access to all those tools at once. So which one do you enjoy most and which one do you think they should start from? So we are starting from somewhere, right? So we just want to know, where can I start from? For someone like me that I want to learn this, where should I start from? Should I start from learning Power BI? I should start from learning Excel, or even maybe just basic 2+2 mathematics. So I just want to know, which one should we start from? Yeah.
All right. I think for me, I think it would be nice because there's no one way fits all, right? It doesn't exist anywhere, right? So, but I think for me personally, I started with Excel. And I don't know if I still enjoy using Excel now, but I mean, that was really what I started with, and that was what I was enjoying at the time. But to answer your other question about, what I really enjoy doing now. So the tool that I enjoy using the most right now is Power BI. And this is because it has a lot of interesting business intelligence, functionalities, and there's just something about it because and the beauty of this is that I am recommending something to the company based on the analysis I'm doing, and the company implements it and it increases productivity, increases revenue, increases active users, increases number of returning users and all that, because these are really some of the KPIs that we track. So as long as whatever I'm doing has an impact on products, then I think it's all good. So yes, that's it.
Yeah. Thank you very much for that, Solomon. So, yeah, I think all the tools, it also apply to what interests you, right? What you want to use the tool for. So I know for my own basic, I tried to learn Power BI too. There was a time I also want to transit. I've actually tried to transition into many things, and that's one thing I want to also let young people know. Try to explore. So most of the skills I have today is because of exploration. There was a time I also want to transition into data science. I also want to transition into design. I actually started doing Canva at some point, transition into this one before, and as you move on, you acquire all these skills. They are not waste, right? You acquire them, and then as you move on, you'll be able to identify which area you want to be, and those skills will help you. So I think it also depends on what you want to do. So if you're someone that just
Sorry,
wants to,
I think I think there was something I forgot to say, right? So there was something that I saw a while back, like a number of years ago, and it's like we settle into different people till we find out who we really are. It's the same thing about our tools, right? So you explore these, you explore that. So then you try Power BI, you try Python, you try R, you try SQL until you really find that thing that works for you. So I think that's something I just remembered now. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So that's another important point, try and explore, exploring will help you a lot. So I'll just throw that question to Itunu. So what are the tools I need to start with if I want to become a graphic designer or a visual designer in today's world? So what are the tools you think I should start with, or what are the maybe courses, programs I need to do? And just from the corner of my own, know that, many people don't have access to internships or all these opportunities. So yeah.
Before you even get internship, you have to be good enough. So you need to start somewhere first.
Yeah.
So I mean, Adobe Creative Suite is like literally that's it. Like if you know how to use Adobe Creative, so like Adobe Illustrator, Photoshop, InDesign, but you have to start from one anyways. So you might start with Illustrator first, or you might start with Photoshop, like literally any of those two. So we don't take it extremely. But if you start with any of those two, then like YouTube is my best friend for real. So I think is anybody like doing Google is everybody best friend, and so there's nothing I need to know, like nothing. Like sometimes I can say, how do I open a biscuit? I mean, I'm gonna find there. I mean, it's that simple. So you don't have to like maybe want to buy a course. It might be expensive. You might not be able to afford to get the money. Because life is not as easy as it is, right? So, but there's YouTube that gives you the opportunity because people have put in content out there, so you can literally just pick it and learn. So just like basis of I know of because I show you from beginning to the end YouTube video, like how to like handle Adobe Illustrator from beginning to the end, and literally if you can start with that, trust me. I don't know. You're already deciding out like you're going to be doing great, and you just keep progressing on that. So yeah.
Yeah, great. So yeah, that's a very important point that YouTube is your friend. Everything I know today, too, most of them came from YouTube. So all you just need to do is to search for anything. The world today, the world is on a playing ground. So nobody is an island of knowledge today. But we having the internet actually is a plus for us compared to the previous generation. So having access to YouTube would help us a lot. And just to also add, in case if you know that, for me, I try Photoshop too. I said I've tried transitioning into a lot of things. So Photoshop was so complex. For instance, there's this tool on Photoshop used to cut people out. Till today, I don't know how to use that tool. So what I did was, and to avoid designing rubbish, so what I did was to start with Canva. So I started learning Canva myself. Till today, nobody taught me how to use Canva. And I've trained during COVID, before I moved to Canada, I trained, I don't know of my friends I trained on Canva and I was collecting money from them. Okay, let me train you on how to use Canva for PowerPoint. Just like Solomon mentioned, learning how to teach people will actually make you better. So I keep on teaching people, and then before you know it, I was making money and also improving myself. And today, all the designs I make, I use Canva. So start from somewhere, just explore. You're a young guy, explore. So Thank you
Just to
very
add
much for that.
that.
Yeah,
Sorry.
coming.
Yeah, like you mentioned sorry, I mean we don't think about Canva because we're like actual designers. So
Yeah.
Canva is like that. So but yeah, Canva is like for non-designers. So yeah, I would if I can use Canva, I don't know. I don't think I can use Canva for my actual designs, but but for somebody that is starting out, like that's it. You don't have any excuse. Like that Canva is there. Like if somebody tell me they want to do something, guy, go to Canva. Like Canva, you can figure out almost everything, like templates of anything. So if you can start from there, trust me, like you're going to move like really fast. So Canva, like, and you can even operate it on your phone. So there's no excuse of I don't have a laptop. Like that's really half of it. So you can make use of your phone. You can start from there. Like when you start giving excuses, you are not ready to do anything. So because
Mhm.
this software that is being provided that makes life a lot easier for us. So you can actually start from there.
Great. Yeah, that's just the fact. So, and you mentioned something just to talk about that. If you really want to become an expert, don't do what other people are doing easily. So, if everyone is learning Canva and you want to become a graphic designer, take it to another level. Learn Canva, but learn Photoshop. Learn all these tools. The more you know, the better you become. So, thank you very much, Itunu, for that. I'll move on. There's another question here just to Itunu before just related to what we are just discussing. So Olabi asked that I love graphic design. It is what I want to learn, but I have no laptop. So I have to go for phone graphics. What can I do? I really love graphics. So I think we're having people that really love graphics here. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I just mentioned it. You just start with your phone. Like that's why I'm like, okay, you might not be able to get a laptop, so invest in a very good phone. So because that way, like my iPhone, I can easily like do one or two things, like literally. Do you get? So start with your phone, like that Canvas. Start with it, like literally, just start with it, because I know how it is not easy to get laptop. I know, honestly. So, and it's not like somebody can just pick one laptop somewhere. It's not easy. I went through it. I know the hardship. So start with your phone so that you don't have any excuse as to not doing what you actually want to do. So when you start with your phone, before you know it, like this, I don't know, the mind is powerful. Like once you're able to do all those things, before you know, when the opportunity comes, it meets you ready.
Yeah.
Because you are like, okay, you know the process already. So by the time, you get a laptop, you can just delve into Illustrator or Photoshop. So you are the understanding already. So it's not going to be all new and it's not going to drag you back. So yeah, I get, like I said, just don't make an excuse for not doing what you need to do.
Yeah, that's very important. That's very important. Thank you to know for that. So this principle you just mentioned is even in line with this principle mentioned in this Think and Grow Rich book. Your subconscious mind is always available to provide you with opportunities, but it comes when you make moves and when you have faith in yourself. So same here, many of the things I do, I will just start them, and before you need an opportunity, maybe for a scholarship or a fellowship, will just come, and that's how I just key into it. So start with what you have. So Olabi actually mentioned that he's using Pixel Lab now for graphics, not Canva, and that's cool. There are a lot of tools out there, tons of them. So just pick one that you love and then start something. And another thing is try to volunteer to help people. Help people to do their work for free. Many of us do it before we start earning dollars. Okay, earning $10,000 now for logo. I know for my friend Shion, for instance, before Shion started earning money, when we started our food and drinks then together, he was designing graphics for over a year, just doing different graphics. And that's how he was able to develop himself for free. So at times, you just want to start earning money, I want to make money. No, start for free first. Help people. And before you know it, you develop yourself and then you can charge as many dollars as you want. So Solomon, back to you. So I have another question here. So many people believe that data science is so technical. For instance, me, I believe that data science is so technical. You have to have a lot of coding and technical skill. So, and this has led to fear of transitioning into it because I'm afraid of coding. Please advise me. I fear I won't be able to fit in. So, what advice would you give to someone like me that is afraid of coding? I don't think I like coding. So, yeah.
Okay. I think one thing that I would say is start with whatever you're comfortable with. And I think I cannot overemphasize the need to start from where you are. What do you enjoy doing, right? And sometimes if you try to explore data science and it's really hard, honestly, try something else. So, and I say this from personal experience, right? So, because I studied engineering and at the time I was in university, final year, a lot of my colleagues were already using SolidWorks, were already using AutoCAD, and all these very complex, let me not say complex, because the same way you said data science is complex, right? So, some of these tools, and it was difficult because I tried to learn it just wasn't adding up, right? And somehow, data analysis, data science was just something that stuck with me, right? So sometimes you want to learn something and it's just not adding up. Try exploring something else, right? And then you can come back to it. And to also encourage you, just maybe like a way to balance up what I just said now, is that don't also give up, right? Sometimes you try so hard. There are times I still have sleepless nights till now because I'm trying to build a model and it's just not working out, right? And sometimes I sleep angry. Like, why is this not working? Like, this data is clean, this should work. Why is my accuracy so low? So these are some of the things that you would experience, but just start from where you are, take it bit by bit. And when you're trying to learn anything, there's also something that I read sometime a while back. It's about like when you want to learn anything, keep it top of mind, right? And this is what I do. Sometimes I'm trying to learn a new library or learn a new, because I use R rather than Python. I use R. I'm trying to learn a new maybe a new function, a new library. I would literally use this as my wallpaper on my phone. I would write it, like I would write some of the lines of those codes that I want to, have as top of mind. So I'll use it as I would screenshot it, use it as my wallpaper. Sometimes I'll print it out and just paste it on the wall close to my bed or close to my, workstation. I would use it as, my WhatsApp chat background. So I'm chatting, I'm still looking at it. I would use it as, my laptop's wallpaper because I just want to keep seeing it. I want to keep it as top of mind. And this has worked for me every single time. When I want to learn something and it's really hard, I just make it top of mind and it really works out. So that's just, I think I should just stop there, really.
Yeah, thank you.
Data science is not hard, really. Just try to explore other things, come back to it, and don't give up. Keep it top of mind. You'll just find a breakthrough somehow.
Yeah, thank you for that. Just as I mentioned, for real, I kind of coding because in my program now in school, we have to like write some scripts and just trying to look through it. I'm like, wow, how do you sit down and write 5 pages of just writing coding like codes? It's really challenging. But one thing I try to also do is this, just to add to what Solomon has said. There is no, I won't say there are no new problems in the world, but most of the problems we are trying to solve have been solved already. But many of us who want to invent a new wheel. I want to write my own new code, or I want to develop my own Canva myself. So people have done most of these things already. So what I do is if I have any problem in school that involves coding, I write the problem on Google, I just search. And it might not really solve the problem, but I can get some clue to actually develop my own solution. So it's not until you start, writing code from scratch, you can easily look for code that have been written and just edit it to your own, to what you want to do. And that's why it's good to learn the basics. So just have a basic of Python, have a basic of R, and then you can just go on. A lot of sites today, they have most of these problems solved already. So just edit it to your own work and then you use it. No, everybody will think you're actually good in coding. They won't know that that's the technique you're using. That's what I'm using. So maybe you can try it out. So we're almost done now. I think we have like 2 questions left for one question or 2 questions each for our speakers. So the question I have now is related to money. So, I believe most of the people here that wants to transition is because they need money. These are young people that want to take care of themselves. And I don't think it's a bad idea, actually. We all need money. Money is needed in life. So, I just want you guys to I believe you already shared this, but I want you to reiterate maybe for people that are not here, people that are just joining. So the question is there a guarantee of landing a job after learning graphic design, or maybe you have graphic design skill now? How can you make money with it? I want it to be as factual as possible. Just go how can I make money with the skill I have? Many of these young people actually know how to design. They know how to, do some data stuff, but they don't know how to take that skill and use it to make money. So how were you guys able to translate from, transitioning into that skill and then making money from that transition? Yeah.
Sorry, I'm still trying to process it. Okay, you can go first. I want to strategically reply that, but yeah.
Okay, good. That's good. Okay, Solomon, you can come in first.
It's not this the setup, you know that, right? Anyways, I think I would say that, first things first, take God seriously. That's all I can say. That's the first thing I would say. I don't know. I know that we have Muslims and Christians here, but whatever you do, guys, take God very, very seriously, because he has control of everything, literally everything. He is able to somehow prompt somebody's mind to help and somehow, but this is not to take away the place of your work, because I work really hard. So I'll give you a typical example. I was working in Ogun State as an inventory and supply chain person, but I wanted data analysis role, like a pure data science, data analysis role, right? And so from time to time, I'll get the job interview. I'll come to Lagos. I'll do the job interview. I'll think that, okay, I think I nailed this. And I was working. It wasn't like I was earning a lot of money. I'll come to Ogun State, travel back to Lagos, and only to be served breakfast, right? And that happened a number of times, but I just didn't give up. I remember one last time before I eventually got something, right? I came all the way to Lagos. There was no money. I barely had money to even eat, but I just felt like, oh, I should be able to get this job, right? So I traveled to Ogun State, and we had two people, was two of us left, it was final interview. I literally saw the CEO of this company, and I was super excited when I got back home, and I felt like, oh yes, I'm definitely going to get this. Only for the other guy, networking is also very important. So when I go for any interview, when I meet people, I take their numbers, exchange contacts and all. So the other guy just called me and said, oh, did you get any mail? I said, no. He said, oh, I just got the job. I said, wow, congrats. Cool, I'm happy for you. And then after the call, I started crying, because I felt like, okay, so I didn't get this one again, right? And to make matters worse, this guy turned down the job because he wanted to work for 2 days. They wanted him to work for 3 days. He wanted to work, but he wanted to work for 2 days physically. And so he turned down the job, right? So he called me and said, oh, I think I just got the offer. I don't like it. I only want to work for 2 days maximum. I can't go to office more than 3 days. But for me, in my mind, I'm like, I want to work for 7 days. I don't even want 2 days. I want 7 days. But he turned down the job, and I was there praying that, oh, this guy has turned down the job. I should be interviewed now, right? I should be reconsidered. But guess what? I still didn't get the job. And then I was broken. I cried and prayed and said, God, please, I don't want to be a mechanic. I want to be a baller, But somehow, just to put all this together, God is just, you need to take God seriously. And like I said, I was coming to Lagos to do interviews. I was doing everything possible. I was working so hard. I was busy tweeting online about jobs, about data analysis, but I didn't even have a good job myself. But believe me, somehow it just happened, and it happened big, right? And The week I got a job, eventually I had to turn down 2 other jobs because I got a job. So when it's your time, you just keep shining. So God first and work really hard. Thank you very much. And yes, you might experience some failures, but please don't stop. Just keep going.
Thank you, Solomon.
Thank you. I knew why the Spirit of God needed me to let Solomon go first. So yeah, like nobody, I mean, anybody could tell you that, you get a job. Like, I think the thing is, there's nothing you actually do, even if it's to learn bricklaying or whatever. You are going to work at some point. Like, there is nothing that goes to a waste in the actual sense. Like, nothing. Like, even if it's to wash clothes, if I know how to wash clothes, at some point I'll get somebody to like say, oh, they want to wash clothes. You understand? So if you say you want to learn design, at some point you would definitely like get the job, as long as you're good and you're tenacious. But the place of prayer is so important, and the fact that you have to realize that failure is inevitable. I was actually pitching to one company and I was talking to them. I said, one of the reasons why I am considering you guys is because you allow failure, because it's part of the success story. Like, you cannot tell me that, how would I even know I'm growing if I can't see the progress of the fact that I failed and I see that there's progress, there's a success story, literally. So if you think you're not going to fail, you're going to lie. That's not true. You're going to fail. In fact, you people would not be able to understand what Solomon is trying to say when he said he was actually crying, and he was actually looking for a job. You cannot understand unless you're in that shoe. Like, it is not easy, actually. Like, everybody's smiling, they are making money, but it's not as easy as it seems. Like, people take a lot of progress, a lot of process, and a lot of things to actually get where they are today. Like, it's a lot. And again, let me tell you one thing that Solomon, maybe he didn't remember to add. It was actually tenacious. Can you, like, you could tell the tenacity in everything I was saying. Like, it was tenacious. Even he didn't give up. Those are the things that you are going to face. Trust me. See, at some point you want to like, who even send me to come and do this design? I beg, and I'm not doing. There'll be days that you are going to feel that imposter syndrome, that it will be so strong that you will doubt yourself that no, I'm not even worthy. Why am I even doing this? Am I even capable? Do I even have the capacity? Like, you will question yourself, honestly. Like, but the moment you have to realize and accept that these things are going to happen. They are normal. They're the things that actually build that resilience in you, that will make you get better. But because one thing is for sure, trust me, there is money in this thing. There is money. So I'm not going to lie. That one, have that at the back of your mind, that there is money, like big money. You can buy Ferrari or Tesla with design or tech. I'm not even kidding you. You can be like, you can do great things with tech or design. I'm not even kidding. But it's a lot of process. I did not just jump from design and get to where I am right now because it's actually easy. I went through process, and I'm still undergoing process right now that is shaking me, like, literally. Do you understand? But at the end of the day, I look back and I'm like, this is not me from where I was coming from. Like, I mean, I have seen the growth. I have seen how, I was really, downcasted and thinking that, oh my God, is this going to even make sense at the end of the day? I question some things. I still question myself some days ago that, did I make the right decision by coming to do masters in design? Like, oh my God, sorry. These things are the things that you're actually going to face. Like, you question yourself, but you have to keep going, because at the end of the day, it's going to worth it. And you're going to be happy that you did, trust me. So it might not just be design that is for you. There are other things in tech fields, like beyond data science, beyond design. You have to explore and just see what works for you. And just, stay the course and put your faith in God. And yeah, it's going to be fine. Okay.
Wow, thank you guys. Thank you very much for the answer, because I think that would help a lot of people here today. Number one, God first. So it's God that gives us power to get wealth and also to achieve greatness. So you have to put that one down. And then the other thing is, tenacity. You have to be tenacious. Don't think that it's easy. Just wake up today and then start making money. No, it takes pain. It takes developing yourself. It takes you not giving up. So, and most of the time when all this failure come, they are just there to build you. When I was in Lagos, I know what I went to. When I mentioned earlier that I wanted to transition to a lot of things, it was not out of enjoyment. It was out of pain, because I literally finished service. I was planning to move to Canada. Visa did not come. I had to take care of myself, and that's how I started learning a lot of things. So you just have to have that mind that you have to keep going and you have to keep pushing yourself. So just to still like add to that, also learn, as I mentioned, learn to volunteer. Let people see your work. Many of you here, you have been designing a lot of things on your phone, but you're afraid of sharing it to the world. The fact is, who will pay you is the world that will pay you. And I cannot, I cannot like employ a graphic designer that has not even put his or her work out there. So if you are writing, content, you are doing graphics inside your room, put it on Instagram. Let people say this is rubbish. If I open my post on Facebook now, post I posted 3 or 4 years ago, I myself have been laughing. So I'm not that type this rubbish. But the fact is, then I was just putting it there. And the more I put them there, the better I become. Many of my posts on LinkedIn like 4 or 5 years ago were rubbish. But the more I write, the better I become. The more you post, the better you become. So start from somewhere, put out those ideas. If it's rubbish design, put it out. Ask your friends, what do you think? So many of us started, I have a friend here, she has a design agency. The logo she did for a company, the logo is, if you see the logo, you just be laughing, wow, so a designer can do this. But now she's better, she has improved, and she had to redesign that logo because she has improved. So, but then she released the logo out, and through that, she was able to, learn 1 or 2 things. So put out your work. Let people see the mistakes you're making. Let them see your process. Nobody started, from becoming an expert. We all started from somewhere. So start now, put out your work there. Anything you learn, share it with people, help someone. And before you know it, you start making your own dollars. So it takes process. And thank you to Noah and Solomon for that answer. That was very, truthful and straight to the point. So I think we just have our...
Sorry, Samuel, I just wanted to add something. So just one other thing that I read somewhere, that the cheapest PR that you can get is a free job, right? Yeah. The cheapest PR that you can get is a free job, right? Just do it for free. Trust me, if you do it well, or whatever you do, that person will tell someone, and it keeps going. The cheapest PR you can get is a free job, and
yeah, exactly.
Good luck, really.
Exactly. So I think that starts, especially if you're in the early stage of your career, that cheap job free job would help you a lot. And then there'll be a point where you get to, and then, even people will not call you for a cheap job again, because they know that now you're an expert and you've been able to position and build yourself well as a brand. So you doing that job as you're, starting out now is very important. So as you move on, that, okay, now there's a price for me. You've been able to develop it, because all your pains are what come together that determine the price tag on you. So currently now, there are some people that are taking $100 for logo. Now there are some that are taking $7,000 for logo, and there are some that are taking $1 million for logo. What's the difference between all these people? Process. So the higher you go, the higher the pain, the higher the challenges, the more your price. So that's how life works. So yeah, now that you're starting out, learn to do things for free, learn to volunteer for people, acquire more skills, and as you move on, also develop your character, don't just build skills, build soft skills, learn how to communicate, learn how to meet with people, attend public events, learn how to network, learn how to start conversation. All these things are going to help you a lot. So because if you know how to do art skill, know how to do design, know how to do data science, but you don't know how to talk to people, you might not even get anybody to patronize you. So lastly, we just to end the event. So Solomon and Itunu, we have one more question for you guys. I think this has been a very rewarding one. So we just want you guys to give for everyone that wants to transition into anything, not design alone, not data science. So I just wanted to give a final advice for everyone, every young people here that have that dream of owning a Tesla one day, traveling the world, working with big companies, Microsoft, Google, what have you. So what final advice will you give to them? And even to yourself, I believe this advice is also for us, because we are all still young people, pushing ourselves to get to that level. So what advice would you give to yourself? And I will reflect on everyone here today. Thank you.
Okay, so I think I'll just say something I've always told myself to anybody. It's my manifesto for this year, and it has literally guided me to this very moment. And the word is do it afraid. Like, do it afraid, do it regardless. It doesn't have to be perfect, just do it. Honestly, like, that thing has driven me so well that, I just believe I can do anything. So just do it afraid. Do it. You'll be scared. Like, I do many things. I'm so scared. And I'm like, nobody knows I'm extremely scared, but I do it. I'm like, I just put myself forward. You think is that they don't know that in my head, I'm like, oh my God, I can't do this. Oh my God. But the moment I just put myself inside, I know that there's no running out of it. So, and at the end of the day, I see massive results. So please just do it regardless. Like, whatever you're doing, put yourself out there. Don't worry, like that, just take that chance. You never can tell. Because if I never took chance in design, I'm never going to be here. Trust me, I'm not going to be here. And I'm glad I did. So yeah, please, I'm begging you to. All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Itunu, for that. Solomon.
Okay, so I'm just going to build from every time Itunu says something, I always just, get a lot of things to pick from it myself. So first, I think I would say that, start small, right? Honestly, if you see a baby running today, like a newborn baby, right? And you see a baby literally running fast, I don't think you'd wait because it would be very strange. But they start crawling first, they start, taking their first step and then the second step, and then they start walking faster, and then later they can run. And when they start running, sometimes they run and then they fall down, then they pick up again and then they start running, right? So just start small. Just like from wherever you are now, you don't need to start looking for I don't want to cut anybody's hopes, short, like, dream big, but start from where you are and somehow you work your way up. And just to also say this, tech requires a lot of hard work. Tech requires a lot of hard work. Tech requires a lot of, I am still growing myself, right? I am actually presently where I came to take a class. I took a 4-hour class just before this session started, right? That's one. I had a team bonding session. I had an engagement session overnight. I barely slept. I came to take the class, and tomorrow I have another 6-hour class to take. Sorry, 5-hour class to take, right? And it's just, and then Monday we start working again. So it takes a lot of work, but please start from where you are. Reward yourself. When you achieve a small goal, reward yourself, and work your way to the top bit by bit. And I really do wish us all the very best. And I hope to see us at the top, and I hope to, of course, be at the top too, to be able to see us at the top. Yeah. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Solomon, for that. Those are very important points. Do it afraid, and also take it step by step, and devote yourself to learning. So just to add my only 2 points, let's look at what happened today during this event. I've had everything planned out, but then one hacker just came in and disrupted everything. So in everything we do in life, we should anticipate for disruptions. So it might not go smoothly as you thought it's going to be. Okay, I want to achieve this, I want to achieve this goal. It's not that easy to do. So there are going to be, ups and downs, but just put your focus on that thing, on that your dream, and just keep on pushing. And life knows how to, bring good things along the way. And once you achieve that good, just like Solomon mentioned, celebrate yourself, take yourself out, buy something for yourself, and then get back to work. Don't sleep too much on success. Oh, I achieved this thing now. Okay, let me go and celebrate. No, once you celebrate for 5 minutes, thank God for it, you get back to work. So that's how, that's how you become very great at what you do. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Itunu. Thank you, Solomon. I have learned a lot myself, and I believe everyone here to have received one or two things. And for everyone that have stayed behind, I say thank you. I also want to thank our partners. We partner with Gegas and also Link and Learn for this event to be able to hold. So I want to say thank you for our partners. I believe there are team members are around today. Thank you very much. I also want to appreciate the ILC team. This is not possible for me to organize alone. So I want to appreciate our community manager. So Adams, are you there? You can just say I. So that's our community manager. You must have been receiving emails from him. So he has been the one helping out with planning everything. So I say big thank you. And also to
Thank you, Davis.
yeah, thank you very much, Adam. So I also want to say thank you to our communication manager. He's not currently here, he's currently engaged. He has been the one helping with the I'm sure you have seen a lot of promotions on Instagram, LinkedIn, and what have you. So I want to say thank you to everyone for coming. I'm very grateful for you coming, even despite all the challenges you still came in. Thank you very much. Thank you. So we're going to organize another event very soon again. Just for us to discuss with people, young people that are doing things and learn from their journey. So possibly, I don't know what the topic will look like. We're going to still talk about that and also ask you for the topics you like us to discuss on like this and get to learn from a lot of people. So thank you for joining today, and sorry for taking a lot of your weekend, but I believe you've been able to acquire something. Very soon when you start riding that Tesla, don't forget to bring the picture of it. So, okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Solomon. Thank you, Tunu, and have a nice weekend.